What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ruin Your Day. This is a channel about battle rap and also about mental health. My name is Avocado.
And fun stuff.
And fun stuff, too. I've been filming rap battles for around 16 years now. But today, we got one of my very good friends here, Lush One. You guys are definitely familiar with this guy.
You know, when you say and fun stuff, it kind of like gives this connotation that battle rap isn't fun.
Yeah.
Battle rap and fun stuff. Not other fun stuff, such as battle rap, but battle rap and fun stuff. But battle rap's pretty fun.
Battle rap is pretty fun. I didn't think about that. I'll have to change it to battle rap and dumb shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, today we're going to talk about mental health, guys. If you guys don't know, I got a show that I do every now and then on my channel called Ruin an Hour. It's a safe place to talk about anything from sobriety, addiction, depression, anxiety, balance in life. And me and Lush are brothers in sobriety.
We done like 15 episodes of that, right? 20, like together, I mean.
Oh, together, yeah.
Yeah, because you have way more, just you, but
yeah,
we've done a grip of them.
But yeah, Lush just went through a big new chapter in your life.
Yeah.
A big change. And I think that it's worthy to open up the discussion about how this affected not only your mental health, but how you stayed sober throughout this entire thing, because going through what you went through is something that most people would hit rock bottom with and look for an escape with. So I just am curious of how you navigated this entire situation. Not from a he said, she said perspective, but mental health and your sobriety.
Well, first of all, what I don't want to do is have this come off as me playing the victim in any type of capacity. Like, I realize that the only one that's in control of my actions is me, and I'm 100% responsible for the part that I played and everything that I've gone through. And this isn't supposed to be a pity party. This is not supposed to be a woe is me. And this isn't me desperately crying for help either, because I have all the tools I need to prosper and to be strong within me already. It ain't on me, it in me. So, like, I just want to put that out there, and I want this to be a forum for me to be 100% transparent about my actions and the way that I feel. And I know a lot of people are going to look at this and probably judge me for it. I know people are going to look down on me. I know people are going to use it against me, as is the nature of the internet. But I'm fearlessly walking into the fire and want to just really discuss how all this has really made me feel for the past several months, culminating in the actions of, or the result that happened last week. And, I just want to be 100% an open book. So, if any, because as far as sobriety goes, I'm not able to keep what I have without giving it away. And if I'm not an open book about this stuff, that possibly other people that are navigating similar changes in their life and traversing similarly murky waters, then if I can't be a beacon of light and try to help them out, then I have nothing.
Yeah. So where do you want to begin? Full disclosure, it's like I know all you went through, so I don't really know where you want to start, where you want to begin. Yeah, kind of let you drive.
One thing I want to say before anything else, and by the way, we appreciate everybody that's subscribing to the channel, liking the video, sharing the video. This is going to be the new place where you're going to be seeing. I mean, I've been doing content on this channel for years, but this is going to be like the primary hub. My brother Kyle has been gracious and generous enough to share this space with me. So this is where you can see all types of Lush One content. Going to be doing live streams, more music live streams, interviews, podcasts, and we will be continuing to do battle rap as well as mental health content as well. Something recently that a good friend of mine said, who has 9 years sober, and dude used to be like the biggest maniac of any of my homies, was in and out of being incarcerated, and was like one of the most gangster fools that I knew, who's been sober for a long time. He responded to an Instagram story of mine last week, and this was after all the No Jumper stuff happened, and but he's like, Nick. This fool never calls me Nick, first of all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's all like, Nick, I just want to let you know, I hope that you're putting as much effort into your recovery, into your meetings that you are with all this other stuff, because anything that you put above your recovery, you're going to lose. And that's a lesson that I already learned. And unfortunately, it's a lesson that I didn't really internalize, because the same thing happened to me again. And so I went to treatment in February of 2020 and was there through June. Completely isolated from the outside world. No access to social media. Fuck social media. Didn't have any access to a computer. The only access to the outside world that we had was 20 minutes of TV a day, where we were like allowed to watch the news, and on the weekends we had like a few hours where we could watch DVDs and movies and things like that. And we had one phone call either every week or every other week. We were allowed to have one phone call for 15 minutes, highly monitored by the staff, and the staff would choose who we were allowed to speak to. So, like, I was, for all intents and purposes, had no contact with the outside world for 4 months. And then when I got out, I was in a sober living house for 2 months. All this was in Texas because, like, I'd already, me going to a treatment center in LA where everybody knows me and I know everybody would have not been a good idea, especially like, I don't think I would have lasted on, there's multiple things that could have happened, but when I got out, like, I really hit the ground running with my recovery, and I had a very simple life. The only thing I really cared about was like going to meetings, doing step work, and staying sober. Like, I had as far as like like, I was living in a halfway house. They wanted me to get a job, but this was also during COVID, and my fiance at the time flew out and got a hotel room down the street from the halfway house I was in, where she lived for like the entire duration of me being there in the halfway house. And she basically had enough money to keep us both afloat, and I had little music royalty checks that were coming in. I'll sell a verse every now and then, so I had like enough money to get by, and I didn't really care about anything else. Like, all my ambitions in the world of battle rap, I wasn't tripping on that anymore. When I got out, I kind of like, my initial thought was like the world of battle rap had kind of passed me by. And I was like, well, I had a great run. When the history books are written on battle rap, like, fuck a footnote, I might even have a few paragraphs, or damn near, like, if I'm lucky, a chapter,
Salute to David Gallagher. He says, respect to you. You're a pioneer.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. I'm not here to toot my own horn and whatever. Like, people tend to say that I made an impact. I've been blessed enough to work with a lot of the most influential people from an artistic as well as a curation standpoint in the culture, and that right there feels great to a kid that just wanted to make some type of an impact in hip-hop culture. And what I wound up accomplishing, as meager as it may seem to some, far superseded what I ever thought that I was going to be capable of. And so, you know, I wasn't tripping on any of that. And I was like, damn, battle rap culture has really moved on. It seems like there's a bunch of other shit. Like, you know, platforms were getting major deals with streaming companies for millions of dollars. And I was like, I don't really know where I fit into this whole landscape. But I was just going to be focusing on my music and sobriety, and that's all I really cared about. Wound up moving back with my fiance to Philadelphia, and out there wound up getting a little record deal, distribution deal, which I was incredibly grateful for and excited about, and didn't really have any ambitions for what was going to happen in battle rap due to the persistence of a few friends of mine. I wound up kind of going back into the fold with battle rap and was able to achieve more success. However, like, nothing came before my recovery. I was going to, if not a meeting every day, sometimes two. I was sponsoring people. I was doing H&I, which is a hospital and institutions. So I'm going to different rehab centers, Salvation Armies, speaking like sometimes like at least once a week, sometimes multiple times a week, talking to people and trying to help out anybody that that needed to hear it and was open to hearing my message. My treatment center wound up flying me back to Texas to speak there, and things were like going really, really well. And my relationship was going well, and things were going well with my parents, and I started making money, and I started having more and more financial opportunities through my homie Disaster. Wound up launching my own company, my own battle rap company, launched my own record label. Like, I'm bringing in more money than I'd seen for years, and more money than I'd really legally ever seen damn near in my life. And got to the point where 2 years into sobriety, I was damn near in the best financial position I've ever been in my life, if not the only other time maybe when I was working over at Film On in Beverly Hills. And at a certain point, I took my foot off the gas with my recovery, and I wasn't prioritizing my recovery anymore. I started to put making money and my ambitions and all this other stuff first. And that superseded not only God in my life and recovery in my life, but my family, my personal relationships, my relationship with my significant other. And just because a big misconception is once you get clean that all your tendencies are just washed away. But, you know, you're talking to somebody who, from the time I was 12 to like 37, 38 years old, was getting fucked up. So I, 38 years old. So I like, that's 27 years of getting fucked up and having this stunted development and these tendencies that really were so deeply ingrained in me that it was hard for me to know how to be a regular person, you know? And I had to learn how to do everything sober because I wasn't accustomed to it, like listening to music, making music, hanging out with friends, you know, being intimate with women, like all this shit, you know, being around my family, working, like things that normal people take for granted. When I say normal, people that don't have addiction issues, like I had to relearn all these basic skills again sober. Even like just like literal like body mechanics and knowing how to dance, knowing how to move around properly, like being comfortable in my own skin. Like I still have a hard time with that shit, you know? And a lot of those tendencies from when I was using started creeping back in. And at a certain point, you know, like I found myself going to, instead of meetings every day, I'd be going to like 3 times a week. Then all of a sudden it was once a week. Then it was once every other week. Then it was like, I'm barely going to any meetings. I'm not working with, like I'm talking to my sponsor, but not with regularity. And I'm not doing my morning prayer and meditation and all the different rituals that I had leaned so heavily on for mental health. And I'm not physically taking care of myself. Like all this shit started going to the wayside. And eventually, like my homie said to me recently, everything that I put behind or ahead of my sobriety, I wound up losing. My relationship deteriorated. My mental health and physical health deteriorated. My finances deteriorated. And on top of that, with my mom getting very ill, by the time it was September into August, like I'd pretty much hit a rock bottom in recovery. Although like I didn't really have any desire to relapse because using was so far removed from my repertoire of thought, I didn't think that I was going to like have a need to relapse. But you know, everything else was fucked. And when things at No Jumper wound up kind of taking off for me, I put all of my value into that. And instead of like being grateful to God for another chance and grateful for the tools that my sobriety have given me for another chance, I just like put all my eggs in that basket. No Jumper was more important to me than any relationship in my life. It was more important to me than my recovery. It was more important to me than all my friendships. It was more anything, you know?
So there's a super chat donation by Ginger Spice. Lush, you're so much more than battle rap and No Jumper. As someone who struggled with addiction, your strength and realness leaves a legacy that breaks stigmas, helps people not feel alone, and makes people smile. You're a star.
Thank you, Jerry Hollowell. Appreciate you. Nah, shouts Ginger Spice.
So why do you think that No Jumper was so massively addicting to you? Was it just the supreme amount of positive reinforcement that you got and attention? Was that why it became the most important thing in your life overall?
That was part of it. You know, Sharp said something on one of his lives recently, which I was looking for earlier. I don't know if he removed it from his channel or what, but Sharp had done a live and he was like, you know, where he called me a fan, and he was like, yeah, Lush is like too much of a fan. And he's right, but the reality is like, as far as like, look, I've been in a public space since like 2005, before that even, and like been on the internet garnering some type of following and attention since that time. Now, obviously, the microscope that I was under while being a part of No Jumper was significantly greater, and to the point where I couldn't leave the house without getting recognized and all this shit. But on top of it, like, I am a huge fan of No Jumper. There's times in my life where that's like damn near the only content I would consume. I would just like, No Jumper was synonymous with YouTube for me, and like I watched it for hours on end. And so like the whole idea of being a part of that platform was a dream come true. And then you know, when things like started popping off with the God Tier podcast, I never really felt like we were a part of No Jumper, although we were on the platform and we got to do some legendary shit, like interviewing Exhibit, interviewing Tash, like, you know, bringing more attention to battle rap in that space. Like, all that stuff was really gratifying and exciting. And just being able to wear the No Jumper jersey, like being on that squad, it felt great. But I never really felt like, you know, I was like a bench player. I actually got to be in the game. And being someone that was actually impacting the platform was like, you know, it's like a dream come true. And I was so excited about it. But on top of that, yeah, like I think that people lose sight when they like, or I don't know if they do or not, but I was at rock fucking bottom. You know, I literally was fresh off suicidal ideations and self-harm and really like wanting to call it quits. Like, I didn't really want to relapse. I didn't want to be alive either, though, at that point in my life. And I was really at the end of my rope and having some dark thoughts. And what got me out of that funk was the love that I was getting from people, was the positive reinforcement and the feedback, which became dangerously addictive for me, especially when, you know, a lot of these fans are like fucking, they don't look at me as an actual human being. I'm just a character on a show they like, and whether they like me or not, it doesn't matter. They're gonna speak openly about it. On top of that, a lot of them are like fucking 15-year-old kids in high school. And I'm putting all this emphasis and this faith and this value on the opinions of people that, you know, their mind changes 5 times a day. And I wasn't leaning into my recovery. I wasn't doing any of that shit. And it wound up becoming a very dangerous obsession for me. And things really, like, although I had issues last year, things really got to a dangerous level, and I never recovered from it at the beginning of this year with the whole Flacco situation. And that was really fucked up of me. And I, to this day, feel a lot of guilt and shame that I would, you know, Flacco never did anything bad to me. He's a good dude. And to this day, I fuck with Flacco. But at that time, like, you know, he was someone that had, like, I kind of, like, wasn't aware of the fact that I was in the midst of elementary/junior high school-esque popularity politics that I was leaning into way more than I needed to. And, like, you know, everybody, when I got over there, everybody already knew each other. And, you know, I was like the new guy, and they had all been fucking with each other for a fat minute. And I was kind of trying to, like, yeah, I wanted to, like, see where I fit into this landscape. And I wasn't talking to my homies as much. I wasn't focusing on the world of battle rap. I put all my eggs in this basket, and I was like, what could I do to make myself as well liked and relevant and popular over here as possible? And you know, I thought, like, it was confusing because I couldn't tell, are these people just coworkers or are they the homies, or like how deep is this? But like when you're going to, I'm going to fucking people's kids' birthday parties and we're planning Friendsgivings, and like I'm meeting everybody's families. I'm meeting people's moms and wives and kids, and like going to people's cribs, and I was like, damn, okay, maybe like these are the homies. But then certain actions would kind of show me like, damn, like, are these the homies? Because anytime and then I would just get confused, like, where's the thin line between content and real life? Like, and I'm coming from battle rap, where you would think it's like the harshest environment in the world, but it's actually a creative space. And as much, it's like Pac said, we might fight amongst each other, but I promise you this: we tear this roof off, get us pissed. You feel me? Like that's like, we all really fuck with each other in battle rap. Even people that are from completely different subgenres and sections of battle rap culture still kind of like rock with each other ultimately at the end of the day. And we don't want to see anything bad happen. If something bad happens to someone in battle rap, we'll all rally together and have GoFundMes, and like, wouldn't you agree with that? Like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
like it's more of like a family vibe. And I kind of thought that that's what No Jumper was. And between our live show in November and then the Christmas party and all that, I was like, damn, we really are like a squad. But then like the beginning of January, when Adam asked me to, go at Flacco, me knowing in my heart that I don't like to get down like that. I don't like to like dunk on people. I don't like to punch down on people, like that's never been like, you look at like my history in battle, that's never been me. And I don't wear that energy well, but I like resorted back to this like elementary school manifestation of who I am, and found myself like tearing somebody down who didn't deserve it. And then I instantly got the karma when he stood up for himself. And I feel like after that, because like I've made such an effort to not be as confrontational of a person, like, Avo, you know me from back in the day, like I never would shy away from confrontations with people. In fact, like I was like a live wire and would be kind of an idiot about shit, and would like, how often was I entrenched in like beef with people in battle rap and shit like that? Like,
I mean, not too extensively, but yeah, it seemed like something that you enjoyed to a small extent.
I was,
and that's with the situation over there. And
before I got sober, for sure.
Yeah, before you got sober, it was kind of an issue. I think an important thing in this space that we have right now is to concentrate less on like the events that took place in your previous platform, and more so concentrate on how you're dealing with this internally, like with what happened to you with Flacco, the feud, and how that like made you feel. Like, how did you deal with that? As a man.
Well, like when the blowback for when he wanted to fight me and I didn't want to fight him, and on so many levels, like so many different aspects of my life were affected by that. Like homies of mine were looking at me crazy, and I started to get, my phone number got leaked, so I'm getting, well, I mean, my phone number's always been on my Instagram, it still is, like, and I do that so fans, people that need help and want to reach out can reach me, and that's always been why. And I spend hours responding to fans hitting me up, and being like, trying to be a source of light and helping people. Like, I'm not doing it anymore, so don't get any ideas, but I would fucking even send money to people if they needed it. Like, You know, don't get any ideas. I'm denying every Cash App request. I don't give a fuck if you're on your deathbed. But nah. I.
So it's shaking your ego up.
It should, but like it was like a constant barrage of people of negative feedback.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting notifications.
Which is like, so you went from this super euphoric high of like, we love you, Lush, you're the best, and everything just flooding. Like every show you get on, it's like electric. And then this happens, and it's like, not only did you kind of dive into an activity that like is sort of an addictive one from your past, but then it like reinforces all the super negative parts about you, and then it's like flipped on you.
Bro, it was like literally every 30 seconds, a new notification of like somebody like talking about what a piece of shit I am, how I deserve to relapse, how I'm still like, oh, like you're a fucking crackhead, you deserve to die, like you're a fucking bitch, da da da, like all this shit. Like I can't even remember. Like it was so, and it was like sometimes every 3 seconds it would be Instagram, Twitter, like my text messages, like it's just one thing after another, and that's when I really started, like, that's when the whole Discord thing popped up for me, and I got invited into that Discord, and the people in there I felt like had my back, and I thought that we had this understanding and we were cool, and you know, we would spend hours talking, and they helped me like navigate a lot of that dark time in my life, and within, like, by the end of the week, I started to feel better about that. But then, boom, something else happened, and people are digging up certain things from my past and putting it on blast and being like, oh, like, now I have to deal with, like, oh, you spoke up in a civil case, you're a fucking rat, and everyone's like calling me a rat, you know what I mean? Like, which is crazy because I've gone to such an extent my whole life to abide by certain principles and codes that nobody's ever had that word in their mouth relating to me. But
so it's just like suffocating.
It's just like,
suffocating
then I have to deal with that, and then like once that's done, then they're like, whoa, but what about this shit that you went through? Like, oh, like then people are talking about the semantics of all that happened in there. Like, oh, like you put on a shock collar and blah, 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 blah. Like all this other shit that's completely taken out of context, but it doesn't matter because the internet's never wrong, right? You can't beat the chat. The chat's undefeated. So here I am now dealing with all this shit. And look, I'm not asking for sympathy or pity. Like, I'm not feeling bad for myself. What I'm trying to do is be transparent with my emotions and paint the picture of what I've been going through and where I'm at now and what this feels like, you know? Mm-hmm. So then all that shit came up, and it seemed like, you know, like every week something else would pop up, and then there's like, oh, getting into it with this person and people that I thought were my homies in real life that are a part of the platform or going out of their way to try to embarrass me. And it's like, you know, when sharks smell blood, they're going to circle and they're going to swarm on you. And when I showed what was a perceived weakness by not wanting to fight, everybody was like, oh, he's an easy target. And then, like, it just felt like I was getting rat packed. And I would legitimately try my best to stay out of controversy, but no matter what I did, it seemed like it would find me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess my question is, like, so you found yourself in that situation, and again, I'm trying to, like, exit out of, like, discussing what's being rehashed a million times and more so focus on, like, your mental health journey, your sobriety. Yeah. So you went through that. That was a big blow to your ego, and then this recent thing, which is, like, a job you have being let go from. how
in
are
such
you,
a public way too.
yeah,
Like,
very, very, very on display for the world to see, which unfortunately is what you signed up for. You know, it's like you're a public
Right.
figure, and you know, not in that fashion. I'm not saying it was well deserved, but you know, you're on camera now, so it's like your life is going to be there.
and I don't have a problem with the public discussing my life. If I did, I wouldn't be on camera right now.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say that people that are in the public eye, like if, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio gets fired from a movie, it wouldn't happen live on camera. You know what I mean? Like people, that never happens. What happened to me?
Yeah.
And I think that like really beyond that, what really hurts and as embarrassing, and at that point I really did want to relapse more than I ever have.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about when that happened? Like, I had a phone call with you.
Yeah, I mean, like, what? Well, okay, you tell people how'd the phone call go.
Okay, so I saw, I'm a good friends of Lush, and, you know, I saw what happened, and I called him up just to see how he was doing, and I was like, what's up, man? And he's like, I'm all right, which I feel like is deflection, which is a heavy thing you've been using since all that stuff happened in January, is of being like, I'm okay, I'm fine, which I know is, you know, your way of coping with something really difficult you're going through.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how are you doing, man? And you're like, I'm just driving around because if I stop, I'm going to go to a liquor store and I don't want to. And then I said, hey, just, you know, come hang out. Just not liquor here, obviously, you know. And you're like, all right, no, you know, I'll see you later. But what kept you from not stopping and going to a liquor store?
Honestly, the thing that's really kept me clean is it's weird because it's like the same thing that's gotten me in trouble, and it's the sense of responsibility I feel with all the people watching, because there's a lot of people watching that are like, that hit me up all the time talking about how much me recovering, going through what I've done, has been a catalyst for inspiration for them to do it, especially people that have seen me before and knew how low I was and knew how bad my addiction got. And that's why even if you look on this channel, you look back at videos from like 4 or 5 years ago, you can see how fucked up I was. And like, sometimes I like watching that, as cringeworthy as it is to see. I'm like, damn, like,
It's proof of how far you've come.
right. You could like like that's indicative of the progress that I've made right there. However, it's like also that's really what kept me clean more than anything, is like I don't want to have to like answer to everybody that's going to be like, oh, you got fucked up. Like that like was the fire burning inside. And it wasn't even about, I wish I could sit here and be like, it was about me caring about myself and me wanting to do better. But it was for me, the sense of responsibility I felt to other people, and me putting other people and the needs of other people and the emotions of other people in front of mine, which is part of my illness. But at the same time, what wound up happening, because like, you know, it's been a whole lot at once. Like, a close friend of mine died last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now. And it was a homie that I grew up with, that I know my whole life, but we fell out several years ago. And even like the first time my boy ever got stoned was me like getting him high. And there's been multiple people that I got high for their first time who are dead now. And I know it's not my fault, but that shit weighs on me. And the last time I seen this dude was in 2016, and it was him coming to my crib and buying drugs from me. And then shortly thereafter, within a couple weeks actually, or less than a week of me seeing him, he wound up getting clean and was clean for a few years. And then I got clean, but we still never spoke. And last summer, shortly before my entire world unraveled, our parents are really good friends. My dad's good friends with his dad, and my dad was about to go out with his dad to get something to eat, and I told I was like, hey, have his pops tell him that I want his number so I can make amends to him. Even though we had both at a fucking decathlete level been fucking each other over. It's like our friendship is like spy versus spy. Mm-hmm. We've been you feel me, at war. We're itchy and scratchy. We've been at war since we were little ass kids.
Yeah.
And, but we were also really close, and then sometimes we'd be at odds, and so he had done a lot of fucked up shit to me. This dude literally fucking got my parents' house shot up before. You know what I mean? And I did a lot of really fucked up shit to him too. And I wanted to make amends for my part. And his dad wound up going back to my dad and telling him nah, he doesn't want to talk to you. Now, that's normal for regular people, right? But if you're in a 12-step program, there's no way you're not going to take an amends call from somebody, even if you hate them.
Yeah.
You're going to take that call. Now, you don't have to actually forgive them and accept the amends, but you will take that call. And him not doing that, I kind of knew, something's up with this guy. And I had heard little rumors from different homies, the whole year previous about him asking him for this drug or that drug, but I kind of was nah, I don't know if it's all true. Then after that, I started hearing about from different homies of mine, that are a little bit more serious, because most of the people that he knows that are in the game or in a street level are because of me. So word was getting back to me that he was trying to get drugs and all that shit, and was looking for fentanyl and all that. And so yeah, this fool for sure is relapsed, 100% confirmed at this point. And then I wind up finding out that he went to treatment. And it's crazy because this dude ratted on all our friends back. We have a crazy history, right? He wound up going to treatment, and within a few months of that, he's back on the streets and he killed himself. I'm not going to say how he did, but it's a super dramatic way to kill yourself. He tried to OD himself and it didn't work, and he wound up doing something very drastic. And so the whole mixed bag of emotions of someone that I used to be close with, who I was at odds with at the time of their death, passing away, and the way that affected my family and so many other people that I know. And I'm dealing with all that. I'm dealing with a great deal of physical pain, because this oral surgery of these new teeth, as great as they look, that shit hurt a lot, and I can't take painkillers for it. So I'm especially when the bottoms got put in, oh, that shit, I've been damn near paralyzed all week, because I guess the bone density at the bottom part of your mouth is different. So not only did that shit hurt while they were doing it, I'm still in a great deal of pain, and I need to go back for adjustments and all that. So it's dealing with all that shit, and then this public humiliation of getting fired, and then what wound up happening in the aftermath of all these other people leaving, which you would think makes me feel good and vindicated, oh, okay, it's not because of me that other people left, but if it wasn't for what happened with me and me talking to people about this situation, this whole chain of events that wound up happening wouldn't have happened. And honestly, it's devastating to me that this thing that I love, No Jumper, is in such a precarious place right now, you know? Like, regardless of, like, you know, where I'm at with Adam, and regardless of the fact that, like, even if people did want me to go back there, like, everybody that's in my life that's close to me wanted me to leave before I even did. You know what I mean? It was saying, like, I'm pretty sure you even told me, like, yo, I don't know if this is good for your mental health, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So after this, how have you been? Like, have you been going to meetings? You have a therapist, right?
I have a therapist.
What do you utilize to get through a hard time? Because I think that would be important for people that are like concerned about your mental health to hear like what you've been doing, or even like people that haven't gone through what you've gone through to be like, oh wow, like what would I do in this situation? You know?
What I'm using is this as an opportunity to really reconnect with my higher power, leaning heavily on God, going back to doing meetings, you know, as often as possible. And when work gets too busy for meetings, that's when you need meetings even more. And that's kind of what I learned. And, you know, just like before, I put work, I put getting money, I put battle rap in front of meetings, and I wound up losing it all. And I put No Jumper in front of meetings, and regardless of, even though I landed on my feet, I'm in a good position now. Like, you know, we have this platform, and I have offers for my, you know, streaming deals and all that shit, which are looking really, really promising, which I'm excited about. Like, all that. I still lost what I love and what I put above. I didn't want this shit to happen. And it's been really painful, and it's been a lot to process, but
do you think it's a lesson? Do you think you learned something through this?
I hope I learned something, but it's been really, really difficult. And I'm leaning really heavily on my spiritual fitness and what I need to do to take care of myself. And I'm kind of at this interesting point because I need to strike while the iron's hot as far as creating content, because I don't want to, like, lose relevance and slip back into obscurity. Mm-hmm. However, all signs are pointing to me needing a break more than anything, and taking time for my mental health. I haven't had a vacation in so long.
Yeah, I think that would be, I mean, honestly, I think that would be great. I think if you took a vacation, and I think a big thing for you would be to take a vacation from your phone. Like, to get off social media for a while.
Yeah.
You know, when I went through my cancellation, that's what I did. Deleted all social media, and I haven't been back since. Because that is addicting. It's like supremely addicting. Like, even with like Ruin Your Days Twitter, I'll find myself by habit going back there, and it's like I hate social media.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good for you, and I think if you would say that you learned anything from this, I think what this situation teaches you is to not care so much about what other people think, you know?
Which is a huge challenge for me. It really is, you know?
Yeah.
It's a huge challenge for me. And I'm at the point where, like...
As he checks his phone.
Yeah, no, like...
But yeah, I mean, I think the trouble you got into was an addictive nature of yourself, where you care a lot about the validation of others, more so than you validating yourself, even, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, that's like a huge challenge for me. But like, what I have done is, like, there's certain social medias and forums and like Reddit, which I've completely removed myself from. And that's a challenge.
Yeah,
that's a challenge right there. But
yeah, I mean, I mean, even you answering this text is like showing enough that you're pretty addicted to your phone.
It was work stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
you know this as well as anybody that you have a really big attachment to your phone. Huge, you know, and social media too. I think it would be amazing if you took just like a small break somewhere, because it doesn't matter what any of these people think about you. All that matters is you, what you think about yourself, you know? Even what these people think about you has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection on them more than you.
Yeah.
So I think that would be wonderful if you took a break.
Yeah, but it's like, I know that I can't, and like I also feel like this is what I love to do. Like, I love making music.
Yeah.
Podcasting. That's like what I love to do, and
of course.
I'm not gonna stop. Like, but I think the other aspects of it need to kind of take a back seat. And,
yeah.
What I'm not trying to do, like what I don't want to do on this, with my time on this platform, is lean into the negativity, lean into the controversy. Like, I want to do like what I did the other day, like talking about dope rap shit and putting people up on things that I'm into. And
yeah, I was just talking with somebody, like a really, really high level battle rapper today about that, and he was like, Lush was in his bag with that. I want to see him more do that, you know, because it's like we should just stop talking about what happened. It's like it's not interesting anymore, and it becomes like this negative echo chamber where nothing good is happening of it, you know. So it's like if you more so lean into your sobriety, recovery, you know, putting that out there for the public, and then also your like wealth of knowledge that you have, which is such a cool aspect about you. What makes you so interesting is you know so much about everything, especially hip hop, you know. I think that would be like phenomenal.
I like telling cool stories. I like, you know, having cool conversations and talking about hip hop. Like, that's what I like to do, and that's what I want to lean into. And at the end of the day, like, if you rocking with it, if you support it, fuck with it. You feel me? Like, that's what we doing over here, and that's what I'm going to be leaning into. But, you know, I'm not going to lie. This has been really challenging, but the whole point of this live and what I want to like get across to people is that
it is challenging.
But I have maintained sobriety, and I'm still out here thugging. My dick's still attached, and that in and of itself is a triumph, because I came close to collapsing, and I'm not going to allow this to defeat me. And if you're going through something like this, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and this fork in the road, like, I'm trusting the journey. I don't know what the destination is, but I'm trusting the journey, and I'm embracing the moment, because I thought I was at the end before, and then the no jumper thing popped up. And then when that deviated, I'm like, maybe I thought that I was at the end again. And then all these new opportunities are falling into place that are potentially putting me in a better situation than I ever have been in. And new opportunities in battle rap and all this other shit. And with my other business, with Marissa and John Urbano that I got. So it's like all this other cool shit going on.
Yeah.
And I want to lean into that more than...
Also, you've been trying to go to meetings more often?
Yeah, 1,000% trying to go to meetings. Like, yeah, like... And I'm going to be, like, leaning... Like, that's going to be my thing more than anything else. That's what I care about, you know? Like... And, shit, my bad.
It's okay.
That's what I want people to glean from... That's what I want people to glean from this. Like, that's what I want to do is take better care of myself, remain accountable, and be there for other people too.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like at a certain point, I stopped doing service and being of service to others, and I justified it by like, well, people see that I'm sober and I talk about sobriety on No Jumper, so that's me being of service. But no, that's a complete cop-out. That's not doing service work. Like, doing service work is working directly with addicts in recovery, and that's what I want to get back into more, and doing all that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, like being healthy. You know, eating better, working out. You know, what the fuck is what's the point of having these teeth if I don't have the motherfucking abs to match? You feel me? Like, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like physically, spiritually, emotionally fit, right?
and if you want to be sexually fit, what you need to do is go to Royalty Honey. What is it? Royalty Honey USA. RoyaltyHoneyUSA.com and put in promo code all capitals LUSHUNO for your sexual enhancement needs for him or her. Yeah, it works. But yeah.
So just some good positive feedback. I'm struggling with myself, personal growth, but at the same time fighting demons and listening to you guys talk through your problems points out a lot of my own flaws.
Absolutely. No, that's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad. Is there more super chats or no?
It was mostly just like, Lush, you're a champion, you're a legend.
If there's look, if there are questions, I'm down to take them, and I am down to take some phone calls as well. So we could do some calls, we could do some questions.
But yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions about anything you're going through, if any of y'all are struggling with anything, depression, anxiety, sobriety, this is all stuff that Lush has been dealing with a lot recently, so he could possibly give you some advice.
And yeah, I'm literally on the phone right now looking at y'all so I could see if there's any questions, but yeah. Y'all, you guys know where to call. Go to my Instagram, click on contact, and you can call in as well. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the new setup. It was actually not that new, but this is going to be the context you're going to be seeing me in over here.
While you read the questions, we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. But yeah, if anybody's going through anything, I think what Lush said is super important about having a good diet, eating healthy, and being of somewhat physical. You know, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to run a marathon. You could literally just walk around the block. Go outside, breathe the air, get some vitamin D, get out in the sun. It's so important. Like, so much of our lifestyle now is based around these screens and being inside that we forget to, like, go connect with nature and just move around. Like, trust me, you'll never leave the gym feeling worse than when you got there. You will always feel a little bit better.
The hardest part for me about going to the gym is going to the gym.
Yeah,
like,
obviously.
Once you get there, you straight.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Okay. A lot of okay, we got a phone call right here. Let's see what this guy talking about. 570 area code. 570 area code. Let's see what you got to say. What's going on? You live?
Yo, Lush One, the legend, bro. What's going on? The call, what's the voicemail? And I looked over at my girl. I was like, damn, Lush is cap. I never thought you were gonna call back, bro.
Come on, fool.
Oh my God, you're a legend. I'm kind of starstruck. I don't even know what to say. I guess my question is, man, me and my girl actually are coming up on 18 months of clean time.
Amazing.
Congrats.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I always resonated with your story. And even on your come up, just always, being in tune with hip hop. The bullshit that happened on the other channel, I was so hurt by it. I'm glad to see that you landed back on your feet, as always. But I wanted to ask. What does your recovery look like today? Do you go to meetings often? We don't have to get too much into the promotion of the shit, but I wanted to know what you do to stay sane, especially with the crazy lifestyle you got now.
Well, it's a 3-part disease, right? There's a physical allergy, there's a spiritual malady, and there is a mental obsession. So that same pyramid has 3 different things for you to combat that. recovery, unity, and service. My recovery is based upon a mental health regime of prayer and meditation in the morning. What I'm supposed to do, but I've been having a hard time with, is social media blackout until I complete my prayer and meditation ritual. Once I do that, there's gratitude lists. A lot of people do nightly inventory. My sponsor has me doing gratitude lists in the morning where, I'd specifically at least 10 things that I'm grateful for. Not just like house, car, parents. Like, it has to be like something specific, like, the maple bar that I ate at Randy's Donuts. You know what I mean? Very specific things. Yeah, exactly. Like, this new Corinthian leather couch that I'm sitting on, and the way that it
That's right.
hugs the underside of my thighs, pause, like things like that. So like and then there's unity, which, that's working with other addicts, having conversations like this, you know what I mean? Like, how am I connecting with my fellow brothers and sisters in recovery? And then there's service, which is having commitments at meetings and doing 12-step calls and being there for other people in recovery. So that's what my sobriety recovery regime looks like. I'm trying to strengthen it. It's left a lot to be desired this past year, but I'm going full force at it again.
Well, man, you just juiced me up. I hope that I see you one day at a meeting and I can actually shake hands with you, bro. But, man, I'm a huge supporter. I'm going to keep supporting, even with the music. Huge fan, Lush. Thank you for taking my call.
That's love. I appreciate it. Much love to you and your lady, and I do be at a lot of the West LA meetings, so if you're ever out here, pop up.
That's right. Well, all right, I'll see you then, man.
All right, player. Be smooth. All right, we got a call from an 801 number. And we got a lot of calls. Let's see if 801 responds.
Hello.
801, you live with Lush Uno. What's happening?
What's happening? That's crazy. I was just hitting you up. Hey, I'm actually on the way to go host my home group right now.
Oh, look at you.
Yes, sir, bro. Dude, it's so crazy, man. So I've been following your journey for a long time, man. Back in the late 90s, I was hosting battles out here in Salt Lake City, bro. Like, Nocturnal Crew, it's wild. But, yeah, man, I've been sober going on 7 years this time. And
amazing.
Literally, we're not connected on Twitter, but I tweeted you like 2 hours ago wondering how you were because I hadn't heard from you. And my mind was like, dude, another brother in recovery. This dude's got to, like, I haven't heard from him. I hope he's doing all right. And, like, so Kyle, thank you. And thank you, Lush, for doing this because it's such a blessing just to hear that you're doing all right, brother.
Hey, no, that's love. I appreciate it. I got to get my ass out to Salt Lake. The homies Disaster, Marv One, and Thesaurus were just out there battling. So, yeah, I got to get out there soon myself.
That's right. Yeah, dude, I wish I was able to go to that. I also run a sober companion business and also, like, sober transport and stuff like that. So all the businesses I have now are directly related to recovery. And, like, like one of the things, someone asked, like, the best way to stay sober. And I always think of it, aside from everything I do in AA, as like pies with 3 S's, PIESSS. Stay healthy physically, intellectually, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and sexually.
Okay.
All of those are so important. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, I hope you're using your Royal Honey USA to stay sexually healthy.
I caught you on that, bro. That was slick for sure. I like the drop. No, but hey, man, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Like, listen, it was like, I mean, without going too much into that, I totally feel you on it being like high school environment almost, and feeling like, your worth is determined in other people's eyes, like online and also in person. And like, bro, seriously, you've been through the trenches. You know what it's like detox, and you know what it's like getting over that, bro. Like, you got a brotherhood here in recovery no matter what, dude. Like, doesn't matter what anybody else says on the internet. Like, you always got us. So, you know what I'm saying? Those of us that
means a lot.
Sober, stand up.
Come on, sober gang or don't bang. Appreciate you, homie.
Yeah, straight, brother.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good one, man.
You as well.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, bro.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna have to cut it there.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Appreciate y'all. We there are more calls, but
We'll be doing a lot more of these lives centered around mental health and sobriety because Lush is a great person to talk about these.
As are you.
Yeah. I mean, I already do these, but this is basically Ruin an Hour, and it will be with both of us.
This is Ruin an Hour,
yeah. But salute to everybody in the chat.
And we already ruined an hour, so yeah we went over an
Jay
hour.
Smooth, I see you out there. Salute to everybody that joined us for this. Again, these lives, you can ask any question about anything, absolutely anything in here, and we could we'll give our advice, or we'll just listen to you too. Lush, you got anything you want to say to sign the people out?
Again, shouts to royaltyhoneyusa.com, promo code capital LUSHUNO. And Avo, Kyle, I really appreciate the you allowing me to have this space and sharing this space on this channel and being able to do this as well as other cool content. I'm going to do another music streams very soon, have some cool interviews coming up, and we're going to get this shit popping on the Ruin Your Day channel and beyond. And to anybody that needs an ear, you can still reach out to me, and we'll get shit popping, and hopefully let's circle back later this week and do another Ruin an Hour.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I'm with it.